I think this changes the game on whether or not at the table, women absolutely have to be at the table when we talk about things like safety and abortion. And former President Trump said, I'm so glad you asked your questions about abortion. A woman does have the right for her body. And then this is why I gave that right back to the states, he said. So it was fascinating to see.
Wait, hold on, what?
A woman does have the right for her body. And then this is why I gave that right back to the states, he said.
Harris Faulkner's Women's Issues town hall for Trump was full of moments to make you wonder, were they listening to what he just said? Because he convinced the Fox host that it makes sense for him to declare a woman has the right to her body, and therefore he gave that right to the states.
Or
right,
IVF.
let's get this question, because I believe that's what this is about.
Oh, I want to talk about IVF. I'm the father.
You don't hear that every day.
I'm the father of IVF, so I want to hear this question.
Yeah. So although abortion does lie with the states, what is your stance on that, and what would you say to those women?
So I got a call from Katie Britt, a young, just a fantastically attractive person from Alabama. She's a senator. And she called me up like emergency, because an Alabama judge had ruled that the IVF clinics were illegal and they have to be closed down. A judge ruled. And she said, friends of mine came up to me and they were so angry. I didn't even know they were going, it's fertilization. I didn't know they were even involved in it. Nobody talks about it. They don't talk about it. But now that they can't do it, she said, I was attacked. In a certain way, I was attacked. And I said, explain IVF very quickly. And within about 2 minutes, I understood it. I said, no, we're totally in favor of IVF.
Man, this guy flips everything on his head. Suddenly, he's the father of IVF, even though he just admitted that it had to be explained to him after the Alabama Supreme Court ruled that clinics that destroy frozen embryos can be held liable for wrongful death. So he was kind of late to that party, but he made sure to let everyone know that since he thinks Senator Britt is a fantastically attractive person, he decided to totally be in favor of IVF. Apparently, if she thought she was ugly, IVF would have been part of the woke agenda or something.
And we're going to have law and order. We're going to we have to reinvigorate our police. We have great police. They're not allowed to do their job. If they do their job with gusto, which is what we want them to be fair. And the sad thing is you'll always have a bad apple. And, hundreds and hundreds of arrests, one bad arrest, and it's on the front page of every newspaper. And these people are incredible. They want to do their job, just like the Border Patrol. They want to do their job. We're going to let them do their job, and I'm going to give them immunity. We're going to protect them because they do things, and they end up getting sued. They lose their family. They lose their house. They lose their pension. They lose everything.
So to Trump, safety includes allowing police officers total immunity to do whatever they want. He thinks it's a winner at a women's town hall, but he doesn't care about the vast number of women that don't feel safe around cops, that already think they can do anything that they want. But based on his very unscientific findings that there's one issue after hundreds and hundreds of arrests, he expects people to just believe him.
The bad apples, does that not incentivize anyone if you give everyone immunity to go after those people on forces that you need to deal with? So how do you balance
People know the bad apples, though. They do. 99% they're just hard. They want to stop crime. You're going to have a bad police officer. And I've seen it where you have one, a couple of very famous cases.
So immunity doesn't keep you from dealing with that?
No, because if they're going to be some people, you're going to say, we're not giving you immunity. What are you, crazy? Look what happened. Look what you've done. You've been terrible.
Right. It's more MAGA scientific findings that say 99% just want to stop crime, and that people know the bad apples. Which people? Are they on some task force to identify the bad apples? And is there some process to eliminate them from police departments across the country once they find them? No, he just says we know who they are, most aren't that bad, and we won't give that blanket immunity I keep promoting to the bad ones. It's just like his declaration about the good immigrants versus the bad ones that he wants to deport. He has absolutely no way of determining who that is, because he just doesn't care.
But they're going to come in through testing. They're going to come in through, do they love our country? Can they love our country?
How does he determine if someone can love our country? For a guy that travels around making sweeping statements about how immigrants, here on a legal basis or not, are all criminals and rapists, why should anyone trust anything he has to say about differentiating between good ones and bad ones? It's ignorant, childlike rhetoric.
We had Aurora, Colorado, where Venezuelan street gangs have taken over a big chunk of the city. They've taken over apartment buildings. They're in the real estate business, just like I am.
Oh, my goodness.
No, but think of it. They've taken over buildings, and everyone's petrified.
It always comes straight back to the fear-mongering rather than explaining anything. Not to mention the mayors of the cities that he keeps using for his anecdotes keep coming out to clear the air.
The Republican mayor of Aurora, Colorado, Mike Kaufman, publicly offered to, quote, show Trump our community and meet with our police chief for a briefing, end quote. Of course, the former president did not take the mayor up on his offer.
If he cared, shouldn't he report back to the supporters some information that he received from Republican Aurora officials about the city being overtaken? Why aren't they curious about how he'd solve the problem that he keeps promising them will kill him? Maybe because the fear starts and ends with the emotional and political demonization game. It allows him to get away with empty answers, while his opponents become the enemy, no matter what.
I want to take a look at what you said and just tell me, let's watch it.
If we have to. And the enemy from within, in my opinion, is more dangerous than China, Russia, and all these countries. The thing that's tougher to handle are these lunatics that we have inside, like Adam Schiff. I call him the enemy from within.
Mr. President, Kamala Harris has said you sounded unhinged and unchecked power is in our future. What do you say about that?
I thought it was a nice presentation. I wasn't unhinged. You know what they are? They're a party of sound bites. Somebody asked me, can they be brought together? You know, I never thought, really, I wasn't thinking like they could, because they're very, very different. And it is the enemy from within, and they're very dangerous. They're Marxists and communists and fascists, and they're sick. I use a guy like Adam Schiff because they made up the Russia hoax. It took 2 years to solve the problem. Absolutely nothing was done wrong, et cetera, et cetera. They're dangerous for our country.